Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to Everything Meta episode 6. And we're going to talk today about the process of starting your crypto journey from zero. How's it
Uh,
going, Peyote?
hey, it's going well, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. So you hypothetically are advising, because none of this is advice, someone who is not in the crypto space, who has zero income, who will never have an income in this hypothetical scenario. And what they want to do is figure out, one, how much they should have before getting in the crypto space. And two, what is the first step once they've raised that money? Like, so, maybe they're going to go borrow $100, $1,000, $500. I don't know. What's that amount to you? Uh, Bare minimum to get in the game.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure there is a I'm not sure there is a bare minimum. I think that $100 get transaction fees on ETH are kind of expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
at this point, I'm not sure the transaction fees on ETH would enable somebody to start with, less than 150 bucks. Um, but I think the best thing if you're starting from nothing, from what I've seen, okay, is you find some of these token communities, right? Some of these early ones, something where you're like, hey, I like that project. And you go, you don't be a pest. Don't be a pest. Don't be too thirsty. Okay. But try to make yourself useful, I think. And that goes for all sorts of things, whether it's like, jobs or construction work, like are you abrasive, right? Are
Mhm.
you do you have some abrasiveness? Because no boss, no employer wants to deal with an abrasive person, right?
Sure.
It's like you try to tell them what to do and they're like they talk back or something, whatever it is. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to deal with that. Okay, there's a lot of smart new agey people out there that are always, you know, hard to deal with. But I would say the best thing is make yourself useful in any situation, right? And this goes beyond crypto. I think is a lot of people are in various situations wondering how it can benefit them, right? And that's not. It's going to be hard to work on a team, right? So like, why would somebody want to do something for you unless you make them give you a favor? You know what I mean? So it's yeah, I'd say go in, make yourself useful, and then see. It's not going to take you too much time of your day, maybe a few hours a day, and you never know. The devs could airdrop you tokens. They could send you a little something. A lot of people I think that people deep down are generally kind. I think that it's like camaraderie, um, and whatnot uh, is like a human characteristic. I believe. I don't think everybody is just mean, so
For sure. Yeah.
yeah, I think if you go in there, you make yourself useful, then eventually something good will happen, especially if you have like some sort of skill, if it's graphics or writing or video or whatever it might be. So I think that's a good start, because then maybe, in our case, we're a launch pad. Maybe like next time there's some type of airdrop or something, as a thank you, so a lot of the graphic people in our ecosystem, are like kind of our go-to. Like anytime we need graphics, we go to them, right? So
Mhm.
yeah.
So, so does that mean that you're recommending if someone has $150, that kind of minimal amount, um, again, not financial advice, the minimum amount someone would need to buy a token, given if it were on Ethereum blockchain, they'd have gas fees to consider. Do they buy the tokens to be part of the community, or do they immerse themselves in the community and hold the 150? Where are you going with
Oh,
that first part?
okay. Okay, thanks. So I basically explained how to finesse some dev into giving. uh, okay, so first and foremost, I'm gonna say invest. And this is not financial advice. Okay, this is just my perspective, which is imperfect. Okay, because
Mm,
I don't have a perfect mind. Okay, I will say that investing should be some surplus cash flow. Okay. First and
mm,
foremost, it should be surplus cash flow. If you have a job, if you have a business, you can take surplus cash flow. And how are you going to preserve that? If you put it in the bank, right, you're not going to get a very good return. It's not going to keep up with inflation. It will lose to inflation, right? So, what are some great ways to keep up with inflation, right? Beat inflation and preserve capital at the same time. That's the whole purpose of investing, right? Beat inflation, preserve capital, right? Maybe multiply that capital over time, right? So, I like real estate. I think real estate, especially cash flow producing real estate, like commercial real estate, um, beats inflation, right? Because the cash flow and potentially some appreciation, right? Maybe some forced appreciation with improvements or whatever. But it
mm.
it it beats inflation and it preserves the capital. It might not be as liquid, right, as crypto, but it's there. So I would say that if you have the $150, you can buy $150 of your cryptocurrency of choice every week if you want, right?
But in my scenario, they've borrowed the 150. They don't have a job. They're not getting one.
Mm.
They're struggling, or maybe they have a job, but there is no extra.
Goodness.
And so you're trying to figure out how to get out of that situation.
Damn, I'm actually a big believer in UBI, universal basic income.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah, I that's what I believe. And then people would potentially have some extra cash flow that they could try to multiply. But damn, using your last borrowed $150 to put
yeah,
into crypto. Ooh, I don't know, man, because in the micro cap space, that's going to be the best place that you can actually create like rapid multiples, right? Like you're not
yeah.
making any billion-dollar altcoin 50x like in a short amount of time, right? Um, ooh, I would say maybe buy some stable coin.
Buy stable coin.
I think so. I think that's probably the safest. It's not going to
Wait, so I'm gonna,
fluctuate.
so I'm gonna.
That way you can pay back the guy. If you buy ETH and it goes down, you only have 100. Now you owe your friend $50. That's no good. I'd buy some stable coin. Reason being, I think there's a
Okay.
lot of like plug and play trading software. So for the Science DAO, one of the first projects, it's a AI ML project to build out an arbitrage trading bot, uh,
Mhm.
cross-platform arbitrage trading, arbitrage opportunities. And so far, the tests have proven like really successful. There's, I think the guy that was testing put like $200 in, and after a week, it was like 100% return, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and that's based on like artificial intelligence and machine learning, just finding arbitrage opportunities. That's not like buy now and sell here, right?
Right.
It's just like this price on this exchange is different than this price on this exchange,
Right.
right? And so just arbitraging back and forth. So I'd say that's probably, I don't know if it's safe yet. I don't know if it's safe yet. I think that it's worth developing, right? Because that's like the holy grail of trading is having artificial intelligence find all the opportunities for you and automatically do it. So I would say that would be one of the more safe, even though it's not made yet, but theoretically,
Yeah.
theoretically, if it was perfect, I'd say that would be one of the most safe ways to try to get a return on the $150. It's going to be very hard to find a micro cap that is going to go up like 50x it's extremely hard. You see in the market right now, there's some, like, just because Monkey did 65x, you know what I mean, does not mean that or however high it went, from
Things like
like,
68x, right?
yeah, maybe, yeah. Just because it went parabolic, the rest of the market is sort of like crumbling around it, right? Like, big hedge funds are getting liquidated. A lot of the micro cap stuff that's launching, they barely make it to any type of significant market cap. Things are fighting for volume. If one thing has volume, that means something else just lost some volume, right?
Yeah.
So I always think that it's best people try to multiply their crypto, but I think it's always good. Like, if you like ETH, like, here Friday's coming up, you could buy another $200 worth of ETH. Next Friday, buy another $200 worth of ETH, and eventually, that, not financial advice, of course, because who knows where ETH is going to go, but eventually you'll have a lot of ETH.
Yeah. So I'm targeting, clearly is an extreme scenario that I've painted where someone has zero income and borrowing their last $150. But what I'm trying to ultimately drive the point of is,
I
what will
got it.
someone do who is either not willing to make recurring investments? If I were to talk to someone, or someone were to come across this video and say, I don't really know much about crypto, I want to
Okay.
get in. Yeah.
Step one, open up an account with an exchange. Okay. A centralized exchange. Step one, right?
Don't pay
Coinbase,
the gas fees. Yeah.
FTX, whatever.
Mm.
Okay. Whatever it is. Okay. And then you'll be able to on ramp that $150. Right. Okay. Then the $150 you can turn into crypto. That's always going to be step one. Step two, download a DeFi wallet like MetaMask. Okay. I will say right now that you should use the Neko wallet. Okay, because it has a fiat on ramp, right? It has a fiat on ramp,
Hmm.
and it functions like MetaMask, so you can kind of kill two birds with one stone there, and then you can interact with the rest of DeFi. Okay, then you can interact with the rest of DeFi.
Got it.
Uh, yeah, if there's any trading strategies or whatnot, that's gonna have to be on you. I'm not a very good trader.
Yeah.
I'm a good accumulator. You know what I mean? I'm a good accumulator, and I think the one thing that I do have is I have conviction
Yeah.
on if I want to go into something. So even if it's like a relatively small, like if something just launched, but I like, I know, not like that somebody told me something, but like that I know like, if I make the decision, like, I'll go in with a sizable amount, right? So I
Mm.
think that's probably a good first step. So first step one, central exchange, get it on ramped somehow. Step two, DeFi wallet, and then I'd say that try to keep doing your research and research as much as possible. But at least the $150 has turned into crypto now, right? Because it was on ramped into crypto, and then from there, I don't know, the sky's the limit. It's hard. During the bull runs, that 150 could turn into like crazy money, right?
Hmm.
And during the bear market, that 150 is probably actually, like, once you hit the peak of bearish capitulation, that 150 is probably relatively safe. You know, probably relatively safe.
Yeah. If you are okay trading sideways, like, yeah, if you're okay going back to $150 or $100 or what have you, right? Like,
Yeah.
but no one wants to see their returns fully diminished. And I know that whenever someone's going to take their uh, profits, has to be a personal choice, right? But
Yeah.
so maybe let's ask the question: you take $150, you get about $150 worth of stuff, worth of token, worth of project, because you've gone centralized. Um, when are you investing in one asset,
Yeah,
450?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because you just can't like people think they can trade all sorts of things. Just trade like one thing at a time. You might be in a lot, but if you're actually trying to trade, like just have maybe one trade open because like you start to do two, three, you miss entries and exits, and that can be pretty significant. If you're just like investing or whatnot, hodling, I think you're good adding and accumulating. Then like if you go borrow 150, like I don't know. That's a tough one because God, ETH gas, it's like can be
Yeah.
50,
Yeah.
you know. That could be 150. Maybe what's a good one nowadays? There's if you got $150 worth of ETH, you could probably go around and try to get all the free mints that you can find because those seem to be doing pretty well right now. Free NFT mint, and then
Hmm.
pretty soon it has value for some reason. So that might not be a uh, bad strategy, right? So yeah,
No, that has legs. Yeah. I think that's a great idea if you're willing to wait.
I mean, I think some of these free mints, like I think the Goblin thing was like a free mint,
Mm.
went to like 10 ETH or something or more. So yeah, I think that there's some free mints out there that seem to be doing all right. But also, like if you have the 150 and it's in ETH, maybe you can work something out with the dev out there for some tokens of a project. You know what I mean? And kind of work your way up.
Okay, so let's go to your wheelhouse then. What does the dev want? I want to work with a project. I've joined the Telegram. I've followed the Twitter. I'm on whatever they're on. Um, by and large, I think folks who are in charge of projects are notoriously bad with answering all their DMs, and maybe for good reason. So,
Oh yeah, well I'll tell you what, man. Like person, I don't think the worst ever.
uh,
So like people with people with my personality type or outlook on life, can get taken advantage of and all sorts of stuff. Like there's plenty of times where I just think that I'm like talking candidly or something and somebody will screenshot and they'll only screenshot like a little part of it or something, you know what I
mm,
mean? Spin it like way out of context and then post it in some group or something, so I think you have to be careful there. Right. And then i- for me, because there's so many, like I don't know about other like I have friends that are devs, and I think because there's so many projects involved and whatnot, there's so many people that like are trying to get some of your time or something, right? And man, I get a lot of DMs, dude.
mm,
And I try to be polite. Like there's people pitching things all the time, like new projects. There's all sorts of things going on. There's a lot of messages, and so it's tough. Just in each group, you see some of them move slower, some of them move faster, right?
sure,
Some of them get
yeah,
1,000 messages in an hour, some of them don't. And then all the DMs that come from it as well, plus all the smaller groups. And so I rely heavily on Jess to try to schedule things for me because like otherwise I'm just like I'll answer this DM and then it'll just get buried, and so I know that if she's like, hey, you have this at this time, then I can be like, okay, like I can tell everybody I I'm busy at this time, and you know what I mean? Yeah. But what devs want? Well, I'll say that I'm not sure about other there's some big projects, there's projects like Shinja, they got a ton of things going on. You know what I mean? They got their gaming platform, they got this thing, they got that thing. They have thousands and tens of thousands of holders, right? And so like trying to DM LC or Cliff or whoever that's involved with Shinja team, it's probably going to be fairly difficult, right? Like it's just the way things are. You know, it, us and Yasha, it's we make ourselves so available, right? There's like so much like intimacy, right, in some of these projects that people forget, and it almost like gets to the point where they're entitled,
Yeah.
right, to go talk to whoever whenever they want, right? And they ask all sorts of different questions. Whereas like D, like our COO, you try to call his office, right, in real life, and it goes to like a secretary, and then maybe you get put on a schedule, right? You know what I mean?
Mm,
So on and so forth. And maybe it's just, you know what, that like we're gonna skip that one. There's maybe no time for that. And whereas in DeFi, you know what I mean? They're like DMing D, you know, he's like, hey, you know, so it's a totally different, you know, it's yeah, it's a different culture, and then people get mad if you don't like the message back or something. It's like, man, there is so much stuff. Like, I think the proper procedure you should probably have, like, and I try to put in my bios is like contact Jess, right, for scheduling. Otherwise, like, I have no idea. There's no guarantee that I'll get back to something. You know, it's just that's like how it is. You get thousands of messages every day. Did
so
that answer it? I don't know.
no, I'm following up though. Like, so how does someone cut through? What, you normally you get thousands of messages. I remember at one point, Alien saying he had like 2 million messages on something, some ridiculous number of messages on Telegram. How does someone get through? How does someone get your attention?
Oh, goodness. Well, there's all sorts of people that add value. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I can clearly see, like, guys, there's nobody if there's a dev out there and you're trying to add value and they
yeah,
don't see that, they're assholes, right? Like, I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like, people can only do what they can do, right?
sure,
If they're trying to contribute and trying to add value, like that that's worth that's worth noticing. Of course, like, we're just human beings. I'm just a dude. You know, D is just a dude, you know, at the end of the day. Like, nobody's fucking, like an angel, like if somebody's adding value, like, we see it, we're in there, people like Al F,
yeah,
Salt is always shilling. Like, we see everybody
yeah,
that's shilling all the time. And granted, I'm pretty sure most of them get, some type of, thank you. You
mhm,
know what I mean? If we
mhm,
missed you out there, sorry. You know what I mean? But most, I think, get some type of thank you. Because we don't. Yeah.
for sure. So then, what I understand you to be saying is, if a person doesn't have necessarily a high income or even a high income skill, like they're not able to create certain graphics that would be appropriate. If someone doesn't have a skill bigger than I don't know, Canva or Microsoft Word, some clip art, and then that's probably not helpful. So getting in the community and shilling is someone can shill their way to prominence.
They can. I mean, they're doing a bulk of the marketing
Yeah,
for, you know what I mean? Like, they're doing a bulk of the marketing, I think. Like, yeah. I mean, that's probably the easiest. I'm not really sure, man. Like, there's meme content, there's all sorts of community involvement and all sorts of things. If people don't want to get fully involved, they don't have to. If they want to, they can. You know what I mean? I think that
yeah,
everybody that does has seen some type of benefit, right?
yeah.
So,
Well, I'm asking from the perspective. Keep in mind, I'm always taking it back to this. Either you have money or you have time. Because if you had no money, that probably means your time is opened up, right? So then you can, and if you had no time, that probably means you were using that time to get money. So if in this scenario where a person doesn't have much money, arguably they have time. and they're trying to get in front of a developer, somebody in the team, so that they can maybe get some tokens, maybe continue to earn some tokens and build a portfolio for themselves. Because again, they're starting from zero and they're able to get in, and you're suggesting that they spend their time shilling, maybe, because that is going to be something that the team is going to find valuable and will want to reward.
Well, man, I'll keep it real with you. Like
I appreciate that.
yeah, I'm never gonna tell anybody. Like I can only make suggestions. Like with
Yeah.
Monkey, I think
Hmm.
Monkey can go viral, right? I can be like, hey, like you guys can do this, but I'll only try to inspire that belief in themselves, right? Like I'm not, it's I never want to be the person that's like, hey, we should do this, and you should do this. Like to overall, especially to people that aren't maybe getting paid. You know what I
Right.
mean? Weekly, they aren't like, I can't. I'm not gonna boss anybody around, dude, or say like, hey, like this is messing up because you're not posting on Twitter 1,000 times a day. Obviously, there's people posting on Twitter like 1,000 times a day.
Yeah.
Uh, and they can figure out their way through. Like I think Monkey is a solid blueprint of how a community can get involved and get noticed, and then you take a few steps, not very expensive steps, but maybe go viral some way, right? And it's yeah. Uh, I'll never tell somebody to go post on Twitter 1,000 times a day because I don't fully understand it. You know what I mean? I will say like, oh, I don't know, just my perspective on why this space is can suffer or prosper or something, and how individuals can help it. But are they going to at the end of the day? I don't know. Will people listen at the end of the day? I have no idea. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that if you don't have very much and you don't really have any skills, then maybe shilling might be the best way. That's a tough question, dude. I don't know. You know, I never saw that. I never even knew people shilled. Because I just made a Twitter. It, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what people are following, to be honest. I see it's effective. You got CryptoCast and Tony Montana and the gang Yasha down there.
Killing
Like,
it. Yeah.
bro, like you can't even open up Twitter without seeing the stuff they're posting. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. 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 For sure. Um, but that's what I mean. I mean, for me, I'm always looking at the other perspective. You come from the perspective of apply the ETH, right? That means you have the ETH already. I'm always trying to figure out how to get someone to the point where the solution to their problem is easier, which means, how do you don't apply the ETH if you don't have ETH. When you have lots of ETH, you can just apply the ETH and solve your problem. It's easy to throw money at a problem if you have the money to throw at the problem. When you don't, you have to be innovative. So I'm trying to, again, thinking about people I know, where I'm from, my generation of folk, what it is that they would be willing to invest, even if they had money, extra dollars to spend. Um, People who are at home with no prospects of making any decent amount of money, people who may at best spend the rest of their days only making below average salaries. What can they do to get in the game? That's why I'm always circling back to this kind of basic hard scenario. I mean, clearly if someone is able to buy in, see a project they like, and just pop 10 ETH in it and see what happens, that's the best scenario. Like, right, but what if you can't do that? What if you're people always say, don't spend more than what you can afford to lose, but what if you're leveraging your light bill because you recognize that, yeah, I probably should pay this light bill, but if I just keep getting up every day and getting on the hamster wheel, all I'm ever going to have is just enough to keep all the lights on. So I want to do something different. So I want to figure out how to get in a project. Or maybe I don't want to actually spend the light bill money, but maybe like you said, there's another way I can get tokens in a project without jeopardizing the bill money, which might be through making myself valuable to the team in some way and cutting through, maybe getting some tokens and stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you, as deep as we are in DeFi, right? Like it is a bit obscure. It
Yeah,
is not like it's not mainstream. You know what I mean? Like you're in
correct.
internet chat rooms. You're internet chat rooms, for token launches and stuff that are very obscure. Doing very obscure things. So I think that's always gonna be a tough thing. But I'll just keep it. I'll keep it real with you, man. And this is what I say. I've done almost every phase of construction,
Mm.
and man, my best friend, when we were young, excuse me, like not too long ago, when we're when you grow up in an age where everybody thinks they're going to make the next app or they're going to take $150 and buy, win the crypto lottery, or win the leverage lottery or something or whatever it is like that. They think they're going to make the next big company. You have all these devs saying like, oh, 1 million people are going to use this, 1 million people are going to use that. And maybe they will. Maybe they will.
Mm.
The statistics are against them. You know what I mean? Um, you know, I think that learning a new skill is really good. I mean, I'll say one thing, like my best friend, he was like, you know what, screw college. I don't want college. He's like, I'm gonna go to trade school. Okay, like finished up his high school, I think early, and just went to trade school. And then pretty soon, he was a couple years older than me. By the time I graduated, I think he was already an electrician.
Mm. Mm.
You know, and he's making like 140 bucks an hour. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And getting paid 250 bucks just to show up to diagnose like why a light isn't coming on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like I know many of the contractors that I know like make 600 to 1,000 bucks a day easily. Okay. Um, even like Union Mud and Tapers right now, for drywall, like I think it's
Mm.
like 35 bucks an hour. It's like 250 a day or something, 300 a day. Right. Which is like really great. When you're like a kid and you come in, you're getting paid, 17 to 20 bucks an hour for general construction work. You just learn like one skill, and then boom, you double up, and so that was always really refreshing to me because like now, he was able to buy a house, right?
Mm.
Uh, he was able to buy a house. He has an airplane, bought an airplane.
Mm.
He likes to fly. He's a pilot. He's like the does air patrol. Um, he's able to like live a good life, making decent money. Now, keep in mind, so I founded a mental health rehabilitation program, and I
Mm.
had like 6 psychologists on staff. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a master's degree, and everybody has an advanced degree. I got kicked out of college. I never finished college.
Mm.
But here, there I was with like a bunch of people with advanced degrees working for me, right? And or working for the state, at the end of the day.
Sure.
And what do we pay them? Like maybe 27 bucks an hour. You know what I mean? To do like mm, difficult stuff. And so like how much did they pay for college? A lot, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, a lot. And then they get I don't even know what 27 bucks an hour is. It's like 50 something thousand, 60,000
Yeah.
maybe.
On average. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and there you have somebody that just went to trade school, like killing it, making like 300 grand a year. People underestimate what people actually need in the world. Not many people need like all these different, you know, centralized exchanges and
For sure.
JPEG
Yeah.
images. Like people don't need those. Like they
Yeah.
just, they're selling to greed, right? They're selling to greed is what it is. And you know, that's why maybe some projects that don't sell to greed don't do as well. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's
Hmm.
yeah. So people don't need that. So I'd say that if you don't have a lot of money and you're trying to figure out what to do next, um, I'm gonna say you can start somewhere. You can start somewhere and learn a skill, right? Some contractor can help you learn a skill, right? And then you can make money, and then you can start investing because you have extra cash flow, right? Then you have extra cash flow, right? And that extra cash flow is what you should be buying $100 of ETH every week. You know what I mean? And investing and DCAing over long periods of time, right? So that that makes sense. I know the
It,
long simplified terms. Go get a job. My bad. My bad. Yeah.
so what you're saying is, if you're down to your last $150, you don't invest. Not at that point.
Sounds like a gamble, especially if you're borrowing it from somebody.
Yeah.
Sounds weird. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Um, I don't know.
I know that was just a hypothetical.
Yeah. It's easy. It's easy to say, right? Like, someone says, how do you lose weight? And they say proper diet and exercise. Yeah, I could say it, and then you got to do it. And and there's that process is different. So if you say like, I need money, well, yeah, you just need a skill, and then market that skill for more money. Like, yeah, sure, I get that, but a lot of people, for whatever reason, whether it's even just an internal barrier, aren't going to see that opportunity and easily take advantage of it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't. You got to figure out what people need. You,
Mm,
you know what I mean? Once you figure out what people need and you know how to supply it, then you've I think you've figured out most of it. you
yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? There's lots of jobs. There's more jobs than people that want to work. You know what I mean? I do think that UBI is pretty is going to be necessary at some point, like universal basic income, like
Yeah.
base, like right to money and like government supplied money. I think is probably an important thing that needs to happen. But maybe that's just philosophical or something. So but
You're starved to death in America waiting on that.
you think so?
I mean, from a day-to-day perspective of like getting your needs met, like if what's it 23rd, June 23rd ish, I think, and you're looking to figure out how you're going to pay your July 1st bills, and there's a possibility that you can take $100 in crypto and have $500, $1,000
Yeah.
by the end of the month.
Yeah.
There's almost no possibility that you're going to develop a skill, market it properly, and get paid between now and the next 7, 8 days.
God damn. Oh my God. I get it now. I get what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just hit me. I don't know if crypto I don't know if you're gonna be able to find a 10x by July 1st. You know, I'm not sure you'll be able to find a 5x by July 1st. You can, they're out there, but you need to be savvy and you need to be like deeply entrenched in DeFi. Like things launch every day and easily do 5x. Do you have the tools to make it happen? Are you that involved? Because yeah, you could potentially put $100 into 5 different plays in a night and some of them will do very well, some of them might not. But yeah, you could easily make $500 by July 1st. You know,
Yeah,
you can also lose all that $100, and
absolutely.
you know,
Yeah,
very quickly. But I see
yeah.
what you're getting at. Like maybe another use case for crypto could be to reduce the need for crime, right? So I think that, damn, dude, that's, I'm not sure if that's where you're going at, but it kind of hit me like that because, like,
Not
yeah,
just crime, but any high risk. I mean, granted, crypto is high risk, but it is something that doesn't necessarily require that you infringe on someone else. Something you can do from the privacy of your own home. You don't need certain tools. If you don't have a car, it's okay. If you don't have a, I don't know, whatever, you can do crypto. You don't even need a laptop,
hmm,
right? You can do everything you need to do from your phone. I'm often interested in talking about access issues, um, which to me is the most important part of crypto. Like, what can it do for folks who don't have necessarily maybe the access to other traditional means of generating an income or creating that wealth, buying that house, whatever we were talking about.
right. Well, ugh, I got it. What I think what spoke to me the most, right, is like why is there crime,
Hmm.
right? Usually it's because you want something that you don't have, right?
Yeah, and
And
you
what
and
is,
you can't imagine another way to get it.
yeah, and what's the path to get it's the dollar, right? The almighty dollar, is like what you need. So even if it's object or property, you're trying to get dollars, right? And why? Maybe because July 1st is coming up. It's like, what else are you gonna do, right? Or like maybe you have some addiction or something. How do you get the next supply, or whatever it might be. And so that itself, I hope there's not a ton of drug addicts in crypto that are like gambling
Yeah,
just to get that net. You know what I mean? Because that would
yeah.
be devastating, right? Like that would be crazy. Quick money for quick drugs or something, right? But maybe you could potentially reduce crime with crypto.
For sure. I wouldn't say potentially. I'd say certainly. For
Yeah.
those whose crimes would be motivated by
Ne-
acquiring the
Needing
means to
money.
pay for the. Yeah,
Yeah, they're not
yeah,
like so bad. Like maybe deep down, like they're not bad. They just have no other option, right? Many times.
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
how did they get that next for July 1st? We a week away. Like, what are we gonna do? Right. But
yeah.
yeah. But if they had another way, like could they settle into that? Would that be enough? Would it be enough if they had another way to not BRB,
Uh,
let's go commit crime, you know? Right. Don't
their
don't
way message.
don't clip that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
No, but like I know people personally who for whom $500 between now and the first would be life changing money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
life changing. Like I'm not exaggerating. So
Yeah.
if you can get into crypto and generate $500 every other month, starting small. The other problem that when I talk to people about it one to one is if you find yourself successful early in crypto and you're in such a need where the minute you get 500 you take it all, then you're back to now needing to find a new project and a new $150 to get back into crypto, right?
Yeah,
But
you need cash flow.
yeah,
Cash flow is so important. You know what I mean? The parabolic gains are amazing, sure, boom. Put in 500, turns into 100 grand. Boom, sell. Got 100 grand. Secured the bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But got that bag.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fine. However, how fast are they going to blow through it? Pretty fast, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty fast. It's life changing, but it's not, like the 100 grand bags are not, it's not life changing. People need to set up cash flow. So they have cash flow. They're never worried about when the next thing is coming. They've done studies, that like stress of where money will come from next, right? Like stress of not having money to pay for something actually
Mm,
makes you not be able to think as clearly, right?
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're here June 23rd, like the test, right? The experiment, it could be like, you have 10 people that have bills and they don't have any money coming up. Ask them to solve some problems, right? And then give 5 of them a surplus of money to pay their bills by July 1st so that they don't have to think about that, right? There's not that added cortisol, right? CRF peptide running through them. And then they can think more clearly. And like the studies have shown, I wish I could point to one, you know what I mean? But studies have shown that once that stress is taken away, the stress of money is taken away, people make better decisions, right? Overall. So like that's another argument for UBI, I think.
I mean, not just that, but the ability to execute on a long term plan when you're not dealing with that, in the Maslow's kind of hierarchy of needs, always dealing with the most basic needs every day. You can start to think long term.
Yeah.
Growing up for me, that was one of my biggest challenges with college. It's like, let me get this straight. I'm broke now, and you want me to do something that's going to maybe get me a job in 4 years.
Yeah.
Like 4 years. You know how long 4 years is to someone who's 17, 18 years old?
Yeah.
So, like, dude, I'm not waiting 4 years to get money.
Crypto's interesting. When you bring up Maslow, there are several like base social type needs that are met, and some that are neglected. Like in
Yeah.
crypto, I always thought jujitsu, right? Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like wrestling and
Hmm.
gym, and that type of camaraderie always helps people reach a point of self actualization, right? Through meeting all
Mm.
those base needs. All you need is food. But like in terms of like you need to give people, and this is tough. This is like something that I try to do all the time. But like people need to feel a little bit of progress, right, in their lives. Uh, they need some people around them that can kind of support them and give them the little push. They need like some people out there to give them like a little bit of that inspiration, like, oh, like I can do even better, right? They need that encouragement and that validation just a little bit, right? And then they need this, that again, circling back to that progress. And a lot of that you can get in crypto. Young kids, older adults, whatever, can start to feel a little bit good about themselves, like they're doing something right. In the so occasionally, I'd like to think in the Yasha ecosystem, because they might start with like something small. They might see them getting some gains. They might be like, okay, like we're gonna take some profit. Boom, they made some money. You know what I mean? And they did it inside of a group, with plenty of people, and they're able to have that validation of progress and growth in their own life or spirit, right?
Hmm.
And so it
Hmm.
does, like, although it's digital and it's like metaverse and this and that, I think that they can meet some of those needs, and maybe move on that path of self-actualization, right? Through some of the validation and progress that they can make. Granted, things could go really bad, right? Things could go really bad And then it could be devastating and depressing and lead to all sorts of negative spiral type stuff. I think Monkey is a great project for that, right? Because it has the reflections, it has the community, it has the people there. It has almost the full recipe, right? It has almost the full recipe for meeting a lot of that validation, right? The only thing I think that is some people try harder than others. They need to have some type of balance. So they don't feel like they're carrying the whole team, right? So anyway, that's just like a couple thoughts. Some stuff.
Yeah, well, you're always going to deal with what's called the kind of free rider problem, where people are able to take advantage of the work of others in the same group. Like if 30% of the group is shilling and it brings up the whole tide, then the other 70% is still going to make money through the work of that 30%. I do think, to your point, that the 30% needs to pace itself in some way where they're not burnt out, and maybe find ways. What's that?
Yeah, just make it fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and find ways to incorporate other folks that aren't, because sometimes you start to feel like unless you can commit to that 20-hour a day shill grind, that maybe you should stay in your lane, right?
Yeah,
sometimes the bar is set too high.
Yeah, maybe like only the people that put in like that much time, right, have like some type of input in the project or something. I could see that.
Yeah.
My goodness, there's so much to that. That's interesting, man. We should do a project where we try to stop crime. How do we do
I'm all
that?
for it.
How do you do that?
I have lots of ideas. We could talk offline about them.
Yeah.
I have lots of ideas. Load it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm like, I hadn't thought about that before until we started this conversation. Like, why do people do this? Because, like, I never think I must be incredibly privileged. Although I live pretty simply, believe it or not. Just kind of work and eat and fish. That I don't have like a ton of nice things or anything. Like it's not like I can wear the same pants since 2012, but you should see my sandals, man. I've been like thinking I should order a new pair of sandals forever. They're like torn to pieces. I still wear them. This is all I wear. But yeah, so I never think about, because I have abundance, right? Like I don't lack anything. So I never quite feel the pressure to get things. And I think that's why at least our group, right, we're able to be creative, right? And be fairly just prolific with creating things, is because most of our needs are already met.
Right? For sure.
Yeah. So I feel that. Huh. What a thing. Damn, we got deep today, huh?
Hey, didn't mean to drag down the whole video today, but
no, you think maybe people will like it. Maybe people will identify with something. And I think we can try to stop crime. I think that would be cool. That sounds
curtail.
crazy.
Yeah, we're not going to be Batman and Robin. We can't slow it.
That's how nuts I am, dude. Like somebody brings, I'm like, how can we make this the biggest thing ever? I could just see D's gonna watch this over. He's gonna be like, God.
This isn't coming out ever, is it?
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
All right. Well, that's what's up. I don't know how to make the $150 into $1 million, man. I would say, and this goes for any kids that are depressed about the bear market or whatnot. Okay, I have my little cousin. He wants to be rich, right? He wants the money. He wants he wants all that. Just like anybody else in America who's fed the materialistic success is the way of life. But when I got out of high school, right? I graduated high school 2008. When I got out, boom, recession.
Oh yeah, worse time.
Like
Yeah.
immediately, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and so I was talking to him the other day. I'm like, when I got out of high school, it was like recession. So he's a senior in high school. I think he just graduated. We'll see how these
Yeah.
next couple of years go. It's not like he just got into trading stocks or something.
Mm. Yeah.
Damn. So I'd say the best thing, and they don't realize it, but my best friend always kept me grounded with this, is if you have the skill, you might think you're going to be the next stockbroker or this and that or whatever, you know what I mean? But meanwhile, he just went to trade school, makes over $100 an hour.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Easy. So that might be good. Yeah, believe me, like he just works. And if it's time to go buy more crypto or something, he can just be like, okay, because he has the cash flow, right? That's what people need, I think, when they invest. It's hard to invest and then compound and compound and compound. It can be done. It's doable, but it's difficult. All right.
Yeah, it is very difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult to find yourself in a position where you have. It can be difficult to find yourself in a position where you have a surplus to invest that you can afford to be okay if you get rugged or the project for whatever reason fails or whatever the case is.
It's tough, dude. You know what? And I see a lot of good projects that have piss poor price action out there. Some of our incubated projects included, and many others out there. And it's like, God, dude, you cannot. There is a way. We're gonna try to do it with the science style. If we can get the development and everything done before the next epoch. But it's tough, man. There's so much sell pressure, right? Like people just want the devs to pump the chart just to sort of combat the sell pressure. There needs to be healthy trading. If you don't have traders, then the chart is not going to be healthy, right? You need people to trade the chart. Everybody wants people to just hold. They just want holders. You know what I mean? You need the traders, right? You need the traders. Otherwise, it just goes up, right? You have a bunch of holders buying, it'll just go up and up and up and up. And then you'll have people capitulating over the next however many months, right? And just like an endless cascade of sell pressure. And it's because people don't want to trade it, right? So their volume will go down. It's kind of what you see with Cliff, right? Like holders, everybody like, you have to hold, like this and that. It's like, God, dude, like you have to trade it, otherwise it'll just go up and then it'll go down. If people trade it, it'll go up and down and up and down and up and down. Maybe it'll go up and up and up, and then maybe it'll consolidate and go down and down and then sideways. You know what I mean? It makes it a little bit more interesting. Yeah, you have to have the traders. So
yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
On another note, we're migrating to Yasha V3 this weekend. Should be exciting. So
cool.
New
contract.
This is the craziest thing, man. I tell people, I'm like, guys, like, why don't you buy after we migrate? You know what I mean? So that way we start low. We'll start low, and then you can, all the buys will show on the new chart. It'll look cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't buy. You know what I mean? Sure enough, what do? Everybody's buying. I'm like, like, what are we gonna do here?
Next time, stealth migration. Next time.
Yeah, something like that. Well, that's what's up. Any other things? Any other philosophical things? I like that idea.
Not for me.
Stop crime.
Yeah. Curtail. We're not going to eliminate crime, but yeah, we should talk. But let's pick this up. We're about at the hour mark, and we can't afford to start another conversation. so let's cut this now, and we'll pick this up, maybe some version of it next time.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Later.
Bye.